presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
Hey, Friday night, home in Arizona. We are set for D-backs baseball inside Chase Field. Diamondbacks, with the National League's best home record, look to make it 3 wins in a row and 2 straight over the Pittsburgh Pirates as we open up the roof tonight. Patrick Corbin gets the start against Pittsburgh's Tyler Glasnow. It's D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume and Bob Brenly along the way. The D-backs and the Pirates. Diamondbacks looking for their 3rd consecutive win. One area of their game that was a problem last month was the defense. A little sloppy from time to time, but Bob, that area has really been cleaned up here in May.
Yeah, you could make the argument that the Diamondbacks were one of the worst defensive teams in the month of April. They made 21 errors, but lately they've been outstanding. Only 1 error so far in 9 games in the month of May, and some of them have been spectacular defensive plays, and I think you can garner just as momentum from a big defensive play, go back in the dugout and swing those bats, as you can from a big offensive inning.
And how about this throw by Jeff Mathis to end the ball game last night?
The only way he could have possibly gotten Josh Harrison at second base was a throw from his knees. He put it right on the money.
Well, hopefully Patrick Corbin will get the benefit of that defense behind him tonight as he looks to bounce back from a rocky start against the Rockies on Saturday.
Yeah, real rough start to that ball game. Bottom of the 1st inning, it went double, single, strikeout, homer, walk against Patrick Corbin. Just couldn't command his slider at elevation.
So here we go, the second of a 4-game series, the Diamondbacks and the Pirates. First pitch is coming up shortly on Fox Sports Arizona. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Tire Pros. Everything rotates around you. By Gila River Casinos. Experience winning like you've never imagined at the Gila River Casinos. Lone Butte, Bequiva, and Wild Horse Pass. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Oregano's. Step up to the plate for a guaranteed home run. At Oregano's, your neighborhood pizza joint. Location statewide. And by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by your Valley Honda dealer, where you get more standard features for less money. By Jack in the Box and the Jumbo Jack, a home run for your mouth. By Gigablast Internet from Cox. Welcome to the gig life. And by State Farm. State Farm is here to help life go right. Talk to an agent today or call 1-800-STATE-FARM.
Gorgeous Friday night here in downtown Phoenix. We've just opened up the roof for the Diamondbacks and the Pirates. Patrick Corbin on the mound. The first pitch is next on Fox Sports Arizona. Roof open here at Chase Field on a gorgeous Friday night. Very comfortable, 93 degrees. The Diamondbacks and the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have lost a season-high 5 in a row. Here's your lineup for the Buccos, brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Josh Harrison will lead it off at second base tonight. Jordy Mercer playing shortstop. Andrew McCutchen out in center field. Gregory Polanco, the villain last night with that 8th inning home run against Zach Greinke. He'll be out in right field again tonight. David Freese, just off the disabled list, had some right hamstring issues. He'll be down at third base. Jose Osuna in left field. Josh Bell at first base. Chris Stewart doing the catching tonight for right-hander Tyler Glasnow.
Your Ram truck starter for the D-backs is the lefty Patrick Corbin. He's won twice in 7 starts, an ERA just under 4. Patrick had pitched extremely well through much of April, and tonight looks to return to that form after a rough outing at Coors Field over the weekend.
Yeah, he's pitched really well here at Chase Field this season. In his 4 starts, he's 2-1 with an ERA of 1.54 here at home. Has held opponents to a 2.33 batting average at Chase.
A look at the Diamondbacks defensively, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Brandon Drury at second base tonight. Paul Goldschmidt will be right next to him at first base. Chris Owings at short. Jake Lamb at third. The outfield will be Tomas, Pollock, and Peralta left to right. Chris Iannetta doing the catching for lefty Patrick Corbin.
Eddie Hickox behind the plate. They'll have the balls and strikes tonight. Chris Conroy is our first base umpire. The crew chief Jerry Meals is at second, and Tom Woodring is at third. Diamondbacks 14-6 here at Chase Field this year. That's the best home record in the National League. And they look for their 3rd straight win, their 2nd in a row over these Pittsburgh Pirates. Josh Harrison will lead it off at .292 and 5 home runs. Pittsburgh really struggling right now, 7 under 500 and last in the National League Central. Fastball from Corbin misses. It's 1-0. Harrison 0 for 3 with a walk last night. And of course he was caught stealing in the 9th inning to end the ball game. Long run for Peralta in the right field corner, and it's in the bullpen.
It's been a struggle for the Pirates against anybody this year, but especially against left-handed pitching. In their last 7 games against left-handed starters, a 103 team batting average.
Clint Hurdle trying to get his ball club going. They're not that far back actually in the National League Central. Swing and a miss. Iannetta hangs on to that foul tip, and it's 1-2. Josh Harrison, now that David Freese has returned from the disabled list, can move back over to second base. He'd been filling in a lot at third while Freese was out with a hamstring problem.
The Pirates obviously didn't hit a lot last night against Zach Greinke and Fernando Rodney, but they had a lot of lengthy at bats, a lot of foul balls. Gregory Polanco, Josh Harrison, guys that got to 2 strikes and just continued to battle and run up that pitch count.
Reaches down and drops it into center. A base hit for Harrison to lead off the ball game. Time now, BB, for your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Well, we've talked about Patrick Corbin and his success here at Chase Field this season. Home is where the slider is. We mentioned in Colorado, he just could not command that slider, couldn't get the kind of break he was looking for, consistently fell behind in counts trying to throw that breaking ball for strikes, but hopefully here at Chase Field tonight he'll have that good slider working.
The shortstop Jordy Mercer, 205 and 2 homers. The Pirates do not run the bases particularly well. They've been caught stealing more times this year than they have stolen bases. First pitch swinging, shallow right center. Pollock and Peralta coming in. David's got it. Oh, that's the first out. What really sunk Patrick Saturday in Colorado was that first inning that Bob mentioned as McCutchen steps in. A 42 pitch first inning. Rockies got 4 runs in that first. 42 of Patrick's 76 pitches came in inning number 1. That's hard to overcome.
A couple of home runs in that game against Patrick Corbin at Coors Field. I mentioned that Mark Reynolds hit a 2-run bomb in that 4-run first. And then Nolan Arenado, excuse me, with a leadoff home run in the 3rd inning.
Rockies hosting the Dodgers right now. LA leads that one 5-1 in the 3rd with Clayton Kershaw on the mound. Giants are hosting the Reds. They'll get underway a little bit later. Padres right now lead at the White Sox 3-2 in the 4th. Patrick Corbin changeup drops in there for a strike. McCutchen last night 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Really struggling with that .210 batting average. Over his last dozen games he has gone 5 for 44 at the plate. Fastball away, missed. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. McCutchen no longer a guy pitchers are afraid to pitch to. Last year and again this season, seeing more and more pitches in the strike zone. Not a guy teams pitch around anymore. In fact, McCutchen's line drive rate this year is a career low. His percentage of hard hit balls the lowest of his career. Goldie's got a running dialogue going on down there with Josh Harrison. Harrison holds on the 2-1. That's in there for a strike.
I get the feeling Josh Harrison would be talking even if he was the only person in the vicinity down there at first base. He's a very engaging young man, brother of Visalia hitting coach Vince Harrison with the Diamondbacks.
2-2 to Andrew McCutchen. Tapper to the mound. Patrick's on it, got a hustle, and they throw McCutchen out. Harrison moves up, 2 down.
You know, we've talked a lot this year about the catchers for the Diamondbacks and their ability to frame pitches. Watch the subtle body movement, not the glove movement, the body movement. The glove was right there on the outside corner. Watch his body just slide over ever so slightly. That gives the umpire the illusion that you're moving back to the middle of the plate. Even though the glove never moved, his body was slightly moving toward the middle of the plate, and they got the call from home plate umpire Ed Hickox.
Pitch framing. Yeah, right there.
And you assume it's just the glove, but it's a lot more than that. If you can give the illusion that everything is moving back toward the middle of that strike zone, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt on borderline pitches.
Gregory Polanco had the one and only Pirate hit last night, that home run off Zach Greinke, who was just dazzling last night. What an exciting night at the ballpark. Polanco homer to lead off the 8th to break up Greinke's no-hit bid. A long extended at bat. There was a lot of discussion about that. The fact that Zach shook off Jeff Mathis, who called for a curveball, and instead threw a slider that he wanted to throw and threw a whole bunch last night. Got it inside to Polanco, but maybe just not inside enough. He went down and got it. Kept it inside the foul pole in the right field corner. One 1-0 to Polanco. Fastball missed, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
It's always easy the next day to look back and say, geez, probably should have gone with the slower breaking ball. Polanco was out in front of everything all night long last night. He must have pulled 6 or 7, 8 foul balls down the right field line. Narrowly missed a home run, just foul, and then finally kept one fair down the right field line, but everything was jerk pulled to right field.
They kept coming in on Polanco the entire at bat. There's a foul ball, and it's 2-1. Here is the at bat last night to lead off the 8th.
The pitch by pitch, inside, off the plate, inside again. That was the long foul home run in that at bat. Another pitch down and in that he swung right over the top, laid off of that one down and in, and ultimately catches up to one. Little body English there, but Polanco able to keep that fair to break up the no-hitter and the shutout.
And the impressive thing was Zach got the next 3 guys to complete 8 innings. Oftentimes, as you mentioned last night, when the no-no goes bye-bye, that's it. The tank's on E. Polanco lifts one along the left field line. Here comes Yasmani Tomas, and he won't get there. This will score Harrison easily. Polanco's going to stop at second, and it's 1-0 Pittsburgh. Now, we talked about the defense at the top of the show. That one dropped into no man's land, but it rolled away from Tomas, and Harrison can score.
Yeah, unfortunately, defensively, you can't protect against everything, and Gregory Polanco is not going to hit very many of these this year. A little blooper right down the left field line. Tomas playing a little bit over into the gap in left center, just could not get there in time.
So a run is in. Polanco at second, 2 outs, and here is David Freese, the third baseman. Fastball missed in. Freese just activated from the disabled list before tonight's game. 321 and 3 homers. This is his first game since April 24th. He's been out with a strained right hamstring. Been one of the big missing pieces for Clint Hurdle. And as we mentioned a moment ago, now that Freese is back at third, Harrison can move back over to second base. He's been filling in over there while Freese was out. That's out of play, and it's 1-1.
Hey fans, we invite you to participate in Gila River game nights by signing up at one of the interactive kiosks located here at Chase Field during any D-backs home game.
Patrick Corbin trying to get out of this first inning. A run is already in. He's got Polanco at second and 2 outs. Slider in the dirt. Chris Iannetta can't find it, and Polanco moves up.
Iannetta gets a piece of it, but has no idea where the ball went. Looked down initially. Sometimes as a catcher, just by feel, you can tell where the ball hits you, where it should go. And that time, Chris thought the ball was straight down, but unfortunately snuck over into that third base on deck circle, allowing Polanco to move up.
2-1 on Freeze. That's out of play, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Hey, you mentioned Freeze coming back and Harrison moving back to second base. They've used 6 different second basemen this year. It's really been a black hole. Josh Harrison gives them their best offensive threat there at second base.
Saw the South African player Gift Ngope over there last night. 2-2 to David Freeze. Lays off the slider. It's a full count, 3-2. Jose Osuna, the left fielder, on deck. And a 20 pitch first for Patrick. Got him. Dropped the slider in there and rings up David Freeze. Pirates get a run. Diamondbacks coming up against Tyler Glasnow. Your Ram truck starting pitcher for the Pirates, the right-hander Tyler Glasnow. He's a big kid out there at 6'8", only 23 years old, 1 win in 6 starts, the ERA near 6.5. Glasnow struggles throwing strikes, averaging more than 6 walks for every 9 innings pitched.
He's averaged 21 pitches per inning this season, and he's got big feet. He wears a size 16 shoe, which you would expect for a guy 6'8".
He's been one of the top pitching prospects in their organization for quite some time, and it's been a bit of a bumpy road, but he's been better lately for the Pirates. And A.J. Pollock steps in to lead it off. He's got mid-90s fastball and a good curveball, Tyler Glasnow. A.J. Pollock 296 and 2 homers. 0 for 4 last night. So oftentimes we hear big, tall, lanky pitchers have mechanical problems because their parts are bigger, and it's hard, I guess, to maintain that symmetry, right?
Yeah, get all those big, long body parts coordinated to get the ball where you need it to go. And so far, it's been a little bit of a struggle for Glasnow to consistently throw strikes. Stuff is really good. That's a snapdragon curveball when he's throwing it in the strike zone.
The when has been the issue, or if. That's out of play. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks lineup, brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
A.J. Pollock in center field. David Peralta out in right. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Jake Lamb at third. Yasmani Tomas in left field. Brandon Drury at second base. Chris Owings at shortstop. Chris Iannetta doing the catching tonight for lefty Patrick Corbin.
2-2 to A.J. Pollock. Got him. A look at the Pirates now defensively. It's brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Left to right across the outfield. It'll be Osuna in left. McCutchen in center. Polanco in right. Freese and Mercer on the left side of the infield with Harrison and Bell on the right side. Chris Stewart doing the catching for right-hander Tyler Glasnow.
David Peralta in the 2-hole playing right field. 291 and 3 homers for David. Bounces the first one to Harrison at second base, and very quickly 2 down.
Hey fans, a D-backs home run today means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Paul Goldschmidt now. 2 outs on 6 pitches for Tyler Glasnow. Goldie 315, 7 home runs, and leading the major leagues in walks. Last night he singled and struck out twice, 1 for 4.
I really thought we'd see the Diamondbacks offensively try to be extremely patient against the young right-hander, run that pitch count up there as early as possible, but David Peralta chasing the first delivery he sees from the right-hander.
Yeah, give him a chance to make mistakes. Although Glasnow likely won't get far with his curveball against Goldie. Laid off a fastball there. Goldie likes to wait out those breaking balls and take him to right center field. Rarely ever strikes out on a curveball. Chris Stewart sets up down and away. Fastball missed, and it's 3-0. Glasnow will throw that curveball more than 20% of the time. Jake Lamb on deck. Down and away one more time on the 3-0. That's in there. Glasnow, despite his early troubles this year and consistent walk problems, has still kept the opposition to 3 earned runs or fewer in each of his last 4 starts, so he's pitched a lot better lately. Changeup up and in, and the major league leader has another base on balls. That brings up Jake Lamb.
Third base, number 22,
Jake 248, 7 homers, 1 for 4 last night, an RBI double. That came in the 3rd inning. Turned out to be the difference of the ball game, in fact. Drove in the second Diamondback run. They won the game 2-1. Hopefully last night's run scoring double ignites that bat, which we know can be so dangerous for Jake Lamb, but it's been a tough month here. 4 for 30 in May. In fact, he struck out in half his at bats this month. That'll reach the seats that it's out of play. Part of the offensive problem has been the middle of the order. Lamb and Tomas, those 2 bats have been pretty quiet the last few weeks.
And it runs in cycles. Guys are going to heat up. Guys are going to cool off. You just hope when A couple of guys cool off, that somebody else gets hot and picks up the slack. Ham and egg it.
There's Jake this month. A couple of home runs on the last road trip. Lays off the glass now curveball, and it's 1-2. That curveball is a good pitch for Glasnow. He's recorded more than half his strikeouts this season with his curveball.
It should be a pickoff throw to first base. You see that thumb flip out there.
Missed with a fastball upstairs. Jake is really good at not chasing those fastballs up. Rarely takes a hack at those pitches that he can't get to. So Loss would be next. Goldie takes off on the 2-2. The throw from Stewart is in plenty of time, and they got him. Good throw by Chris Stewart. Goldie thrown out, stealing for just the second time this year. Diamondbacks are down 1-0. Fans, if you can't catch the games on your TV, stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's presented by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the app and take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. The left fielder Jose Osuna leads off the second against Patrick Corbin. Josh Harrison a leadoff single. Gregory Polanco an RBI double. The game's only run so far. Osuna 222 with a homer. Struck out in his only 2 at-bats last night. That's going to roll foul. And Hickox behind the plate. Right back to the mound. Patrick's got it, 1 down.
I tried to hit a little comebacker on the pitch before. It trickled into foul territory. This time a one-hopper right back the lane to Patrick Corbin for an easy out at first.
Well, here's one of the promising young players in the Pirate lineup. It's the first baseman, a switch hitter, Josh Bell. Slumping a little lately, 234, 5 homers. Hitless in his last 15 at bats. He grounded out as a pinch hitter in last night's ball game. The Pirates with Starling Marte suspended for 80 games for a PED violation. Really need Josh Bell's development as a big league hitter to accelerate a bit here. But this is a young guy they like a lot, a 2nd-round pick out of high school in Dallas 6 years ago.
And power from both sides of the plate. You mentioned 5 home runs, 2 as a right-handed hitter, 3 as a lefty.
And Patrick's fallen behind 3-0. The catcher Chris Stewart on deck. Patrick not giving Bell anything to hit at all. A 1-out walk.
Hey, fans, get to any weekend game this season with the new D-backs Bud Light ticket pack. The pack includes a game ticket, a Bud Light, and a bacon wrapped Sonoran dog, all for just $29. Visit dbacks.com/Bud Light.
Mentioned that Bell's a pretty promising young hitter. No offense here to Chris Stewart or Tyler Glasnow, but that sure looked like a pitch around. Stewart 261 this year. 6 for 23 at the plate with a couple of extra base hits. This is Chris Stewart's 8th start behind the plate this year for the Pirates. He's hit safely in 5 of his previous 7 starts this season. Patrick quickly losing command of the strike zone. A 4-pitch walk to Bell, behind on Stewart, 2-0. 30 pitches, only half of them for strikes. Patrick, the last time out Saturday in Colorado, went only 4 innings, and for much of that outing seems to do a pretty good job of keeping the ball down against the Rockies. But Bob, I remember you saying this during that game. They really laid off anything below the knees. He could not get them to bite at that slider or that changeup.
Threw a lot of pitches at the bottom of the strike zone, a lot of pitches just below the bottom of the strike zone, which is exactly the game plan that most pitchers use when they go to Coors Field. But the Rockies hitters just refused to chase.
Yeah, they had some very disciplined at bats, and as a result, you saw the pitching line a moment ago. Patrick wound up giving up 8 runs on 9 hits, including 2 homers. 2-1 on Stewart now. And again misses with a fastball. 3-1 on Stewart with a pitcher Glasnow on deck. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach. In the air, left center field. Yasmani Tomas calling for it. And he's got it in the gap for the 2nd out. I like the fact that Yasmani there quickly called off AJ Pollock and took command of that play. Sometimes he forgets to do that, and there are near collisions out there.
Well, and it's easy to get spoiled with AJ Pollock because he does cover so much ground from his center field position. But when it's an easier play for one of the corner outfielders, they do need to take charge. If AJ can get there and make the catch comfortably, he'll call him off. Otherwise, take it.
The pitcher Tyler Glasnow.
But not only does Glasnow walk a lot of guys on the mound, he's drawn 4 base on balls this year.
He's 6'8". He's got a big strike zone. How does that happen?
I don't know. That's a good eye. Real good eye.
Reaches out and taps that one foul right behind or in front of Joey Cora at third. Tyler Glasnow from Santa Clarita, California. 5th round pick out of high school there by the Pirates in 2011. Just 23 years old. He'll be 24 in August. Patrick trying to strand that 1-out walk. Called Called strike 3. There's the Corbin slider. Second strikeout for Patrick, who trails it 1-0.
I could talk to myself all day. Dino.
I got the memo of you being mic'd up, so my goal today was to stay away from you.
So, got it.
David Peralta wearing the mic, and Tony Lovello has described him as a little chihuahua right there next to the manager talking all the time. We'll multiply that by 100 tonight as he was trying to get his teammates to talk to him. More of that all evening long here during our broadcast. I was talking to David, though, yesterday about the catch in the first inning. Andrew McCutchen, the ball was hit hard off the bat of McCutchen. He made that grab, and, of course, we know what happened. 7 innings of no-hit ball. You know, he said that about the 5th inning, guys, he was having butterflies, and he was actually looking at it from the perspective of a former pitcher, not wanting to let that pitcher down out there and really having confidence that the defense would do the job last night for Zach Greinke's fantastic performance.
Yeah, tensions were certainly high, Jody, last night. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that catch might have been a little tougher in the 7th inning as opposed to the 1st inning.
Jake Lamb, who was up there when Goldie was thrown out stealing to win the 1st, leads off the 2nd against Tyler Glasnow. Here's the catch. David Peralta, top of the 1st last night.
A little sinking line drive. Oh, what a play. Really had to reach out there with that right arm to get the glove underneath that one.
And when you're wearing one of those microphones, nobody wants to go near you. That never bothers David, but there's a bit where he goes out to center field where Zach Greinke is shagging flies, and he tries to get Zach to talk to him, and it is hysterical. And we'll show that to you at some point over the course of the game tonight. He tries his hardest just to get Zach to even mutter one word, and it turned into a bit of a staring contest. It's very funny, and we'll show that to you here tonight. Lamb bounces one to Harrison at second base. One away.
You talked about Glasnow coming from Newhall, California. Went to Hart High School, and if you're the father of a young right-handed pitcher, I would recommend you send your kid to Hart High School. James Shields went there. Trevor Bauer. And the guy that's working in Pirate Radio tonight, I think he just stepped out of the booth as we were ready to mention his name, Bob Walk.
Oh, yeah.
All went to the same high school as Tyler Glasnow in California.
In Santa Clarita, California. Here's Yasmani Tomas.
There's Bob Walk.
So Oakland leading 2-1 at Texas.
Working Pirates Radio with Joe Block.
Well, you want to talk about a competitor. He didn't have the best stuff in the world, but when you face Bob Walk, it was going to be a battle all night long.
One of the ultimate ironic nicknames in baseball history, or last names, I should say.
A game against the Giants when I was a player, and the hack man Jeffrey Leonard, one flap down, got pushed off the plate by a Bob Walk fastball up and in, and stared out at the mound, said, "Don't ever pitch me inside again." So Bob Walk just kind of nodded, went back up on the rubber, and the next pitch hit him right in the middle of the zero on the middle of his back. You're not going to tell Bob Walk where to pitch you.
Telephone provider. Now he's a
Yasmani chases that curveball in the dirt and strikes out. 2 down in the second. Hey fans, MLB.TV Premium is back, and it's better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on any of your 400 supported devices. Plus, you'll get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Visit MLB.TV for details. The red-hot Brandon Drury. RBI double last night. He's hit safely in 3 straight games. He's had an RBI in 3 straight games. First pitch swinging, foul back, and it's 0-1. Drury 313. He's homered twice. Check swing, foul. Brandon, through his first 18 games this year, had only 4 extra base hits. He was hitting, but he was mostly a singles hitter. But now, much more consistent hard contact, driving the ball to right center field. 8 extra base hits in his last 12 starts. Glass now can really bring it consistent mid-90s.
And a lot of talk about pitchers in Major League Baseball to get the ball going downhill. Standing out there on the mound in the middle of the infield, you're 6'8", get your arm up high over your head and get that ball going downhill into the strike zone.
Kind of reminds me of a right-handed Tyler Skaggs. Just got a piece of that fastball. Glass now put together an impressive career minor league record, 36-19 with a 2.03 ERA in just over 100 minor league games. That's why he's been such a top pitching prospect for the Pirates. Big league debut came last year, a couple of starts in July, and then a handful of appearances again in September. He spent most of last year at AAA Indianapolis. Able to check. Another big curveball from Glass now, and the count is even. It's 2-2. Glass now with AAA last year, 8-3 with a 1.87 ERA. Gave up only 65 hits in 110 innings, but walked a lot of guys. Drury barrels one up, but foul down the left field line.
Now you mentioned those outstanding numbers in the minor leagues for Glass. Now in an even 500 innings pitched, he walked 246 batters.
Ooh.
Big strikeout totals to go along with it. 645 punch outs in those 500 minor league innings, but lots of walks.
Brandon again, a line drive to right center field, and that rolls to the wall. Brandon Drury, another extra base hit. That's his 10th double this year.
Boy, have we seen a lot of this lately. Get to a 2-strike count, stay on a pitch on the outer third of the plate, and find that gap in right center. Chases Polanco and McCutchen all the way out to the RamTrucks.com pool area. 2-out double for Brandon Drury. Opportunity for Chris Owings here.
Brandon at second with 2 outs. CO 311 and 5 homers. One more home run and Owings will tie his career high. It's only May 12th. As good a time as any. Oh, it gets behind Stewart. Drury can't see it, and now he moves up. Brandon wasn't sure there for a moment, but he can walk into third.
He ruled a pass ball on Chris Stewart. Breaking ball on the other side of the plate, but just hits off the webbing of the glove. Looked like it might have hit Chris Owings in the back foot, or hit the umpire actually in the foot. Goes all the way to the backstop.
CO takes a big hack at that curveball, and it's 1-1. That's his big strikeout pitch. Chris doubled and scored last night. He's hit safely in 3 straight games and 7 of 8 games this month. Roof is open here in downtown Phoenix. Here at Chase Field, the D-backs and the Pirates. Foul back, and it's 1-2.
Now we know occasionally pitchers have some issues seeing the signs here at Chase Field, as well as other ballparks around Major League Baseball. It's not uncommon for a catcher to put on some white out or highlighter, or in this case, orange nail polish.
Now that works. You can see that from space. Got him to chase a curveball. Last now strands the Drury double. It stays 1-0 Pittsburgh. Third inning, Diamondbacks trail the Pirates 1-0. Time now for the unlimited baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. More bad news for the Mets. Their closer is down. Ryan Braun on the 10-day DL today. A calf issue for the Brewers. And Wilson Contreras, the Cub catcher, hit a home run in his first 2 at-bats against the Cardinals' Mike Leake at Busch Stadium tonight. Cubs lead that game 3-0. Josh Harrison, the leadoff man, leads off the third against Patrick Corbin. It's now 3-1 Cubs over the Cardinals. They're in the 7th. Harrison singled and scored to lead off the ball game. There's that Patrick Corbin changeup. That's the pitch that's not quite where Patrick would like it to be. Threw it a lot in spring training. And of course we know about the fastball and the slider, but when Corbin goes to that changeup, oftentimes hitters either just don't swing at it and let it drop out of the strike zone, or they hit it pretty hard. Occasionally he'll get a swing and miss with it, but it's not quite as effective as he'd like it to be. Nice short hop scoop by Lamb at third. One down. The shortstop now, Jordy Mercer.
Shortstop, Jordy
Mercer flied out in his first at bat, swung at the first pitch. Patrick's stuff, as he admitted, wasn't nearly as sharp Saturday at Coors Field as it's been all year. Two-seam fastball seemed to almost cut more than sink, which meant it sort of flattened out a bit, didn't drop like he wants it to. And he was a little short with some of the sliders, breaking too far in front of the plate, down in the dirt. No reason for hitters to chase those. And when he did try a changeup, it was up and got hit. Drury comes in on that one. Just does get Mercer at first, 2 down. So maybe we'll just chalk that up to the elevation at Coors Field.
It certainly affects a lot of pitchers going in Denver and struggling with the conditions there. The thin air, breaking pitches just don't break the way they're supposed to, and you really need to have a plan B, maybe even a plan C when you go to Coors Field, just in case things aren't working. Got to find a way to compete when you don't have your best stuff.
Andrew McCutchen tap back to the mound his first time up. Patrick's throwing a lot of fastball tonight, but he's missing a lot with that fastball. Kind of feels like a Robbie Ray start that way. There's the Corbin changeup. He drops it in there for a strike. In the air, pretty deep right center. Peralta's got room though. And Patrick works a 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 5 in a row. Diamondbacks trail at 1-0.
Chase Field. Pirates lead the Diamondbacks 1-0. Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away three free
Take 2.
3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Ursaineta leads off the bottom of the third against Tyler Glasnow. Big cut of the first pitch fastball, and it's 0-1. Chris, 214, 2 homers. Got the start behind the plate Wednesday in the win over the Tigers, went 1 for 4. He has singled in each of his last 3 starts. Missed at 95, and it's 1-1. turned on that one. Wow, that's up in the third deck, halfway up the third deck. That's a big league foul ball. He's got Pedro Martinez's red glove.
And caught the ricochet all the way from the upper deck.
Tony Perez-Chica at third base. Iannetta blasts one deep center field, way back. Holy Toledo, it's gone. Oh, he killed it. There was absolutely no doubt about that one. Chris Iannetta, that's his third, and we're tied at 1. Iannetta's seen a hit like that. That's how they say it back in Rhode Island.
Oh, man, 95 right in the middle of the zone. Hit it where it's pitched. He took it right back up the middle of the field. I've been about 3/4 of the way up the batter's eye out there in center field.
Oh, my goodness. Patrick Corbin now. The great thing was Glasnow's reaction. He knew right away. That is a jumbo jack. A free jumbo jack tomorrow with the purchase of a large drink at Jack in the Box. Tell him Chris Iannetta sent you. You want to take a guess?
What are we guessing? Distance or velocity?
Either one. I got both.
I would say exit velocity probably 110. Distance 449.
Wow, not bad. 109
okay.
on the exit velo, 441 on the estimated distance.
And it was loud.
It sure was.
I think that's what pitchers react to more than anything else when they give up a bomb like that, is the sound of the ball coming off the bat. They don't even have to turn around and look. They know where it's going to end up.
Take a listen to this one. Tyler Glasnow wanted that one, didn't get it from Ed Hickox, and he walks Corbin. So this third inning has started off in a bad way for the young right-handers. Chris Stewart's going to go out there and calm him down.
Boy, and as a manager, you get concerned when rallies start at the bottom of the order. The solo home run, that one just does dip below the zone. Now you give up hits or walks to the 7, 8, 9 hitter and then roll around to the top of the order. That's when crooked numbers start going up on the scoreboard.
A.J. Pollock. A.J. struck out his first time up. A.J. struck out chasing a mid-90s fastball. That's been a little bit of a weak spot for him this year. Something Glasnow was able to exploit. Starts him off this time with a first pitch curveball and steals the strike. Glasnow's averaging 94 miles an hour with that fastball, and A.J.'s been chasing those pitches at that velocity out of the strike zone at nearly double the league average this year. And that's how he struck out his first time up. Looking for that fastball now. So far he's gotten a curveball and a changeup, and it's 0-2. But A.J. with 2 strikes this year, hitting .265. That ranks him top 20 in the major leagues in terms of 2-strike batting average. League average with 2 strikes is .170. He's hitting .265. Drives it deep left center field. That's going to roll to the wall. Corbin had to hold up. Here he comes. Pollock's flying to third, and he's got an RBI triple. triple for A.J. Pollock. It's 2-1 Diamondbacks. First three have reached here in the D-back third.
Two-strike mistake by Glass now. Got that pitch up over the heart of the plate. A.J. sends it into that gap. The issue here was Patrick Corbin running in front of A.J. Pollock. Corbin held up momentarily, stumbled around second. Gets the wave home from Tony Perez-Chica, and A.J. easily right in behind him at third base with an RBI triple.
RBI chance for David Peralta, who grounded out his first time up. Get some oxygen for Corbin. Big cut at that fastball. 1-1. Peralta was swinging for the downs that time.
You know, we laugh a little bit about Patrick Corbin's trip around the bases there, but we'll keep a close eye on him when he goes back out to the mound. Sometimes when you really have to overextend like that, it takes a little bit out of you when you go back to the mound.
Peralta lines it down the right field line. That'll bring Pollock home. The freight train on the run. He'll stop at second with an RBI double, his 9th of the year. Big third inning brewing here for the Diamondbacks. First 4 have reached.
Single away from the cycle in this inning. Change up at 88. David able to extend his swing. You can see him really reach out there with the arms in the upper body and able to keep it fair down into the right field corner. Thought maybe David might try for 3, but Polanco got to it in good shape and has a big arm out there in right field.
Well, Ray Searage not liking what he's seeing. It's time for a chat on the mound as slow Glass now down. Home run, walk, triple, double has opened up the bottom of the third.
Serious teaching going on out there right now by Ray Searage, a pitching coach who has a reputation of rejuvenating careers. Yeah. Taking guys like A.J. Burnett, Francisco Liriano, Jay Happ, Edinson Volquez, Charlie Morton. I mean, the list goes on and on. Guys that have had a measure of success in their career but come to Pittsburgh and seem to find the fountain of youth.
Well, he's working with a young right-hander tonight, and it's getting ugly quick in the third. Here's Goldie, who walked his first time up. Peralta at second, nobody out, and 3 runs already in. Big cut at that fastball from Goldie, and it's 0-1. Bullpen is busy for the Pirates. Josh Lindblom, the right-hander. Peralta takes off for third. The throw from Stewart is offline, and David's in there. His 4th stolen base this year.
A breaking ball that hung up on the inside part of the plate, which really kind of leads Chris Stewart into his throw to third base. Fortunately for the D-backs, he pulled it into foul territory for David Freese, and Peralta able to slide in with a stolen base.
Infield will come in for Pittsburgh. Toes on the grass. Oh, buckled him with that big curveball, and it's 1-2.
That's only the 6th strike he's thrown in 14 curveballs so far in this game. We know he's got a good one, but if he doesn't throw it for strikes as a hitter, you just eliminate it. Sit on that fastball.
It rolls into left center. Peralta comes home. Goldie's got an RBI single, and it's 4-1. First 5 have reached in the D-back third. But for a second, Mercer might be able to snag that one at shortstop, and it went right by the glove.
Pitch up in the zone. Goldie had to get up on his toes to get to this high fastball, but tomahawks it through that left side for another RBI base hit. The Diamondbacks have hit for the cycle with a walk in this inning.
Chance for Jake Lamb now. Keep that line moving. Jake grounded out his first time up. Drives it to center. McCutchen will play it on a hop. Lamb's aboard. Another Diamondback hit. First 6 have reached in the third. Homer, walk, triple, double, single, single. Still no outs in the inning. 4 runs are in. And here's Yasmani Tomas. Tomas struck out his first time up.
Well, you see this kind of an inning developing. If you're in the first base dugout, if you're Clint Hurdle or Ray Searage, you start wondering, is he tipping his pitches out there, because they're hitting everything on the button.
Now, Yasmani had a home run Wednesday here against the Tigers. He's hit safely in 3 straight games. Goldie at second and Lamb at first. There's that curveball, 1-0.
And once again, can't throw it for a strike, so just disregard it until he proves he can throw it for a strike, or until you get to a 2-strike count.
Off glass now. Harrison behind the bag. Mercer for 1. Yasmani beats it out.
Glass now up the middle of the field. Yasmani busting it down that line, beats the relay throw on to first base.
Here's the guy who won up right now, Brandon Drury. Everything's a line drive off the bat right now for Drew, who doubled the right center his first time up. The 8th man to bat in the Diamondback third. Fastballs in there for strike 1.
Brandon Drury over his last 5 games plus tonight, 7 for 17, 5 doubles and a homer. 6 of his 7 hits have gone for extra bases over the last 5 games.
He is batting .435 at Chase Field this year. That's the best home batting average in the National League.
Well, I hate to trump you, partner, but with that double that he hit,
now what's he up to?
444.
Trending up. We like
yes,
that.
Indeed.
Now got a 10-game hitting streak here at home. Glass now really laboring. 27th pitch of this inning on the way, and he's only got 1 out so far. Bullpen still busy for Pittsburgh. Drury hits one high in the air. Deep left field. There it goes. A 7-run Diamondback third. You better believe you got tacos.
Oh, a changeup, letter high changeup over the middle of the plate. If you had to put in a request for a pitch that you were going to hit out of the ballpark, that might be the one.
Well, Tyler Glass now started off this inning by serving up a home run to Chris Iannetta. He ends it with a home run off the bat of Brandon Drury. Glasnow's day is done, and he didn't survive the third. It's 7-1 Diamondbacks. We're still going in this inning. Back after this.
here in the bottom of the third. Only one out. A hanging changeup to Brandon Drury. I mean, that ball's just screaming, hit me, hit me. Glasnow just could not get the ball down in the zone, but that makes us happy because that means tacos.
Let's linger on that for a moment. Just kind of absorb the art. Chris Owings fouls that one back. CO, the 9th man to bat here in the Diamondback third, and the new pitcher for the Pirates is the right-hander Josh Lindblom. Just his 3rd appearance of the year. Gave up 7 hits and 4 runs in 4 innings Monday night against LA.
He walked 3 in his 4 and a 3rd innings pitch so far this year.
This came up from AAA Indianapolis on Saturday. He was 0-2 down there.
That's good managing, Skipper. Nice going.
It's like some of the games we had on that first homestand.
Yeah.
Some big innings. Fly ball to center for McCutchen. 2 outs. Diamondbacks have batted around here in this 7-run third. Here's the man who started it off with a 441-foot homer way over the camera well in dead center field. Chris Iannetta almost hit the DBTV board out there with his 3rd of the year. Hit just below that frame part there underneath the picture. So Chris has now hit safely in each of his last 4 starts behind the plate. Had a base hit Wednesday in the win over the Tigers. Another one to center. This will stay in the yard though. And McCutchen's got it. It's a 7-run Diamondback third. They lead the Pirates 7-1. Back at Chase Field, D-backs now have a 7-1 lead over the Pirates. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Patrick Corbin has set down 5 in a row. Now got a big lead. Part of a starting pitching core for the Diamondbacks that ranks among the league leaders in just about every critical pitching category.
2nd in innings pitched. We know about Torey Lovullo and his mantra, give me 21 outs, and he has basically forced these starting pitchers to try to finish what they start.
Gregory Polanco, who's got an RBI double, leads off the 4th inning with a high fly ball to center for AJ. If you're a fan of some of the advanced metrics, ERA plus, which is ERA adjusted to fit each team's home ballpark. Different factors are taken in, different variables, and the number is adjusted to create a level playing field. Diamondbacks in ERA plus ranked second in the major leagues. David Freese back from the DL, struck out looking to win the first. Wouldn't lay off the slider, and Patrick's ahead 0-2. Got him. Third strikeout for Corbin, 2 down.
Second time he's gotten David Freese looking in this ball game. 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, once on a slider, once on a fastball for Freese.
Plenty of plate that time.
Jose Osuna, the left fielder. In this inning for Corbin, 4 pitches, all strikes. He set down 7 straight. Osuna tapped back to the mound his first time up. Osuna back in left field tonight. The Pirates before the game today activated Adam Frazier from the DL. He's been out with a hamstring issue, so Frazier figures to see most of the time in left field. Now that he's back, a left-hand hitter, so he's not in the lineup tonight against Corbin. Here's that Corbin changeup. He's throwing that pitch a little more often tonight. Lynn Hurdle trying to figure out something for his Pirate. They've already lost 5 in a row. They're 7 under 500.
We talked about having a plan B when you go into Coors Field, and that would probably be Patrick's plan B. If that slider's not working, if he can't command it, try to go to that straight changeup.
Backs it up with a fastball at 94.
Hey fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Patrick so far has given up 1 run on 2 hits. He's walked 1 and struck out 3. Tried the changeup again but missed, and it's 2-2. Josh Bell, the first baseman, would be next. Lays off a slider, full count, 3-2.
You mentioned that Patrick Corbin changeup. He's thrown 10 of them tonight, 6 for strikes.
That's a lot through 3 2/3 innings for that pitch for Patrick. Really worked on it hard in spring training. Oh, he kept that fastball down, and it got Chris Iannetta.
Inside of the right knee, then the inside of the left thigh.
Oh. He'll have to have a glass of wine, some of his own wine after that one. At the Jack Vineyard. 3-2 pitch. Second walk issued by Corbin. That ends a stretch of 7 straight retired. Brings up Josh Bell. Now the first time up, Bell's got the 8 and 9 hitters behind him. Patrick threw him 4 fastballs, none of which were near the strike zone. It sure looked like a pitch around. But we'll see how he works to Bell here with Osuna at first and 2 outs.
Yeah, for a young hitter, Josh Bell, pretty patient. As I mentioned, his first at bat in the ball game, he drew that base on balls. That was number 13 on the season.
In there with a fastball, he jumps ahead 0-1. Josh Bell still developing as a big league hitter. He's adopted kind of a wider, more open stance. He used to have a big front leg kick. He cut down on that a bit. Fewer moving parts. He's a pretty big guy at 6'2", 230. 60 pitches for Patrick, 36 strikes. That bounces away from Chris, and Osuna moves up.
Remember last season, or maybe possibly the season before, we showed you the comparison of Paul Goldschmidt and Buster Posey and how similar they look in the right-handed batter's box at one point. Josh Bell looks a little bit like both those guys when he gets that bat pointed straight down behind his back. Knees flexed, hitting out of a little bit of a crouch, upper body straight up.
There's that wider stance right there. That's a great shot of it. Yeah, he's got the bat behind his back just like Goldie and Buster Posey. Good call. All smiles when you're up 7-1. Joking with Kamara Barti, the Pirates first base coach. 2-2 pitch. This is well hit. Deep center field. A.J. Pollock is going to have a look, and it's on the home run porch. There's why they like Josh Bell so much. A 2-run homer. That's his 6th of the year, and it's a 7-3 ball game. Just 24 years old, Josh Bell, and he's a guy to keep your eye on.
Sweeping slider that ends up in the middle of the plate. I don't even think Josh Bell got all that one. Kind of a abbreviated swing that time, but got the barrel on it and hit it up above the 413 mark out there on the home run porch.
He's got some pop from both sides of the plate. In fact, he's got 6 home runs this year, 3 from each side. He's a switch hitter. The catcher, Chris Stewart.
Oh, those 2 out walks.
Yeah. Well, that's why they pitched around Bell the first time he was up there with 1 out. And the 8 and 9 hitters behind him. But Patrick just hung a slider that time. This is hit hard to center. Backs up Pollock. Drifting over toward the pool, and he's got it. Josh Bell's homer makes it a 7-3 D-backs lead. Time for AARP's Getting to Know third base coach Tony Perez-Chica.
Yeah, played with Tony back in 1988. He came up for a cup of coffee, played in 7 ball games, 2 of those starts at second base. He was a 3rd round pick by the Giants in 1984.
And he has been an absolute soldier in this franchise for 15 years. Every scouting trip, every minor league camp, every backfield game, all the fungos, all the ground balls. He's the infield coach. He has done it all in this organization. And now in his 15th year as the Diamondbacks, a big league third base coach. Patrick Corbin leads off the bottom of the 4th.
I don't know if Tony will take credit for this, but the Diamondbacks have made the fewest outs on bases this year. Now, this does not include pickoffs or caught stealings or force outs. But when the offensive team makes a base running play attempting to advance and they get thrown out on the bases, that's only happened 4 times this year for the Diamondbacks. And Tony's very aggressive, and the players know he's going to be very aggressive, so we're seeing a tremendous effort on the base paths this year.
They have a team of very good base runners.
Yeah.
They're fortunate in that regard. Corbin, a long look into the dugout. You know, what do you want me to do here? And there's some discussion now with Torey Lovullo, who's on the top step of the dugout, and we're set to go. That was an awkward moment there. Some confusion.
Yeah, well, I have no idea what signs you would possibly give in an 0-2 count.
Yeah, with the bases empty to lead off an inning, but something went wrong there. There's Jerry Nair, the bench coach, in the middle. Patrick was a little out of sorts. Just reaches out, keep that fair. Corbin's aboard. Well, his first time up, he walked and scored, came all the way around from first on a Pollock triple. And a lead off the 4th inning on the bases again.
Yeah, maybe that's what they told him from the bench. Hey, take a full swing and just tap it down the third baseline and beat it out for an infield hit. Patrick cues that one right off the end of the bat. Initially, he's not sure if it's going to be fair or foul, but when he realizes that's on the grass, I got a chance to beat that off. He is down that first baseline like a shot.
Well, so far tonight, he's walked and singled. Top of the order around, 3rd at bat now for A.J. Pollock. He has struck out and hit an RBI triple. Part of the 7-run Diamondback 3rd. There's the strike, and it's 0-1. Lays off that cut fastball from Lindblom. A ball and a strike to Pollock. 0 for 4 last night. AJ had 2 hits in each of his 2 games previous to Thursday's game against the Pirates. He's been going to his pull field a lot lately. Had a triple to deep left center field his last time up. Just missed a homer. Goes to his pull field again. Knocks it into left. Corbin stops at second. Here we go again. The first 6 batters reached safely in the D-back 3rd. First 2 on board here in the 4th.
Another hanging changeup, this time to A.J. Pollock. Clean line drive into left field. Patrick Corbin getting his road work in here in the last couple of innings.
He won't have to shag flies for a month after tonight's start. David Peralta. RBI double down the right field line his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Yes, he went. Tom Woodring at 3rd, 1-1. There's that cut fastball coming in toward the left-hand hitter from the right-hand pitcher. Tied him up. On a play, and it's 1-2. Oh, there you go. The red velvet.
That is pretty. Got a little left over. Might need some help out there.
Peralta fights it off. Little duck snort, and it drops in. 3 singles open up the D-back 4th. The bases are loaded with nobody out for Goldie. Not the sexiest hit he's ever had, but it worked.
Definitely works loading him up for Goldie. You want as many runners in scoring position when Paul Goldschmidt comes to the plate as possible. In his last 6 games plus tonight, he's 8 for 12 with runners in scoring position. He actually has a 7-game hit streak with runners in scoring position.
Well, tonight he has walked. He's got an RBI single. He's up there with the bases loaded and no outs. Corbin at third, Pollock at second, Peralta at first. Way up in the air and foul. Good thing the roof is open.
That one has re-entry burns on it right there.
He's hit about 3 or 4 of those this year. Some of them have gone for home runs, but every once in a while he will sky one up into the rafters. This place has already seen a whole lot of Diamondback offense. A 7-run third. And here to start the fourth, bases full, no outs for Goldie. Tried a curveball, missed. It's 1-1. Paul Goldschmidt over his last 20 games has hit nearly 380. He's been getting on base at a 500 clip his last 20 games. 21 RBIs over that span. He's knocked in 1 run tonight. That's out of play. It's 2-2. He's been in this situation before. 3 grand slams. Patrick Corbin at third. A.J. Pollock at second. David Peralta at first. Here's the 2-2 to Paul Goldschmidt. Tapper foul over the head of Tony Perez-Chica. I don't think he was in this situation at Indianapolis.
Probably not. He's asking Chris Stewart, can we just do one of those no-pitch walks right here?
Might be better off. The old Barry Bonds treatment. Chased a slider and strikes out. First out in the fourth.
Promising start to the at-bat there for Paul Goldschmidt.
Now here comes Jake Lamb.
First pitch cutter. I think this shocked everyone in the ballpark how high Goldie hit that pitch. It was above the top of the zone. Lindblom comes back with a curveball off the outside corner. Fastball away. Scared him right out of the zone. A little cutter right in the middle of the plate. Probably the best pitch Goldie had to hit that whole at bat. And ends up chasing a breaking ball off the outside corner. You rarely see that.
Lamb has struck out or grounded out in single. He's 1 for 2.
Lamb fans in the house.
Well, there's lots of them. Got a whole flock, if you will. Uh-oh. Poor Pirate guy surrounded by lambs. Base hit. Corbin scores. Here comes A.J. Peralta digging for third. And the Diamondbacks have a 9-3 lead.
Ground ball through that right side. Diamondbacks answering the 2 spot that the Pirates scored in the top of the inning with 2 so far of their own here in the bottom of the inning. You don't want to give this Pirates team any sense of momentum. Scored 2 in the top of the inning on a long home run by Josh Bell. Come right back and put a couple runs on the board and take the momentum right back on your side of the field. Patrick
Corbin's made 2 trips around the bases. Ken Crenshaw maybe going to get him some oxygen as Yasmani Tomas steps up. 0 for 2. He scored a run. Peralta at third. Lamb at first. That one's fouled back. Patrick has walked, singled, scored twice tonight. Diamondbacks sent 10 men to the plate in the third inning, scored 7 runs. Another potential big inning cooking right here. Still just 1 out. Tomas, base hit. Peralta scores. 10-3.
Keep the line moving. A lot of pitches middle of the plate and up in the strike zone. Diamondbacks hitters taking advantage of some really hittable pitches in this game.
I hope Ray Searage is wearing his Fitbit tonight. He's going to get his 10,000 steps in. Diamondbacks with 10 runs on 12 hits through 3 1/3 innings. A 7-run third. It's a 3-run fourth.
This is like that national debt ticket. Brandon Drury, every time he steps to the plate, his average goes up here at Chase Field. Now up to 453.
Drury has double. He's hit a 3-run homer. This was the home run in the third.
That one made a pretty good sound too.
Just missed with a fastball, and it's 1-0. So Brandon now RBIs in 4 straight games. He's up there 1 out, 3 runs in. Lamb at second, Tomas at first. Kind of a road trip for Clint Hurdle. They went to LA. They were almost no hit by the Dodgers. They got swept in that series. We're almost no hit last night here. Arias had a no going against him for a while this week. Greinke 7 no-hit innings last night.
It has to be particularly galling for longtime Pirates fans. The Pirates have always been a team that's all about their offense. History of guys that just pound the ball. Great teams, solid lineups up and down. This has to really be tough to watch in the early going this season. They're just not scoring many runs, not getting many hits.
1-2 to Drury. Just got a piece of that one. That's that same slider that struck Goldie out a couple of batters ago. Oh, she can't stand it. She's so excited about all this offense. Makes your hair stand up. Stewart hangs on, and there's the strikeout. 2 down. Well, they sent 10 men to the plate in the third. Here comes the 9th man to bat in the fourth. Chris Owens coming up.
Yeah, just enough movement on that 2-seam sinking fastball. Gets it in underneath the hands of Brandon Drury. Very frustrated. You can tell he's feeling good at the plate because he thinks he should crush every pitch he swings at.
CO trying to get in on the hit parade. He's 0 for 2. That tied him up inside with a fastball on the hand. That's where he really likes it. 0-1. Patrick Corbin's hydrated, ready to go again. 2 complete trips around the bases for Patrick in 2 innings. Two on and 2 out. There's another base hit. Here comes Jake Lamb. Here's the throw from Polanco, and it's not in time. 11-3, the RBI single for Chris Owings, and the Diamondbacks have batted around in back-to-back innings.
This game has turned into a scorecard crusher. Back-to-back innings, batting around, little cut fastball once again. Up, everything up in this game, and D-backs hitters are just making them pay.
Chris Iannetta has homered and flied out, 1 for 2. Here's the stat of the night from our increasingly reliable staff. D-backs tonight, keep in mind they've scored 11 runs on 13 hits. They are 7 for 11 with runners in scoring position. And they've had all these base runners tonight. So far they've stranded 1. And that's a stat right there that was a big issue on the last road trip.
Just couldn't seem to come up with that big knock with runners in scoring position.
Change up from Lindblom missed. Good take by Chris, and it's 1-1. Bullpen is quiet for the Pirates. Lindblom's going to kind of have to wear it here for a bit, looks like. A 7-run third, a 4-run fourth. They've batted around in back-to-back innings. AJ's tripled, singled, scored twice. Spiked his slider, and it's 2-2. So with that, Chris Owings' RBI single. Every Diamondback starter, including Patrick Corbin, has at least 1 base hit. Home runs from Drury and Iannetta. 2-2 on Chris. Hand check his swing and a curveball. But the Diamondbacks get 4 more. Jake Lamb, a 2-run single. Yasmani Tomas, an RBI single, will head to the 5th. Diamondbacks lead the Pirates 11-3.
Bueno, pienso que el carácter de una madre, ¿no?, siempre es fundamental para cada persona. Ya yo llevo a cerca de 3 años y medio, casi 4 ya, lejos de mi familia. Pienso que para mí sería importante, ¿no?, tener a mi madre aquí conmigo cerca y dándome el apoyo ese que es fundamental para mí ante cada partido, cada mañana, y pienso que eso es lo que más extraño de mi madre.
Oh, it's got to be tough for Yasmani Tomas, missing his mother in advance of Mother's Day. That was the connection between Melba, his mother from Cuba, and Yasmani. She said he has never let her down in baseball or in life. She misses him so much. She's so proud of him. He said it is great to have his wife Melissa and daughter Mia here, but it is so tough knowing his mother and the rest of his family are in Cuba. Hasn't seen her in person in about 3 years, but hopefully, he said, someday they will spend many Mother's Days together.
Good story regarding Yasmani and his family as we head into Mother's Day weekend. Lindblom grounds out to open up the 5th.
I think occasionally we lose sight of that. We think these guys, being professional athletes, are just robots. They're just a collection of numbers. And then you see something like that and you kind of envision what Yasmani Tomas has been going through over the last 3 or 4 years. And you got to really tip your cap to the young man for what he's accomplished in a very short period of time.
Josh Harrison singled and scored to lead off the ball game. Hard to believe the Diamondbacks trailed at one point 1-0 and now lead at 11-3. Yeah, Yasmani Tomas is the son of a fuel truck driver. Grew up in Havana, Cuba. And Yasmani started playing baseball when he was 6. Neighborhood children in the streets. Grandfather used to take him to see Industriales games in Havana, the big team down there, for which Tomas would eventually play and star. And of course, everything he went through to get to the U.S. Left Cuba, landed in Haiti, established residency there, and got cleared by the U.S. government, held some private workouts, and signed with the Diamondbacks as Harrison rounds out. Tomorrow, the Diamondbacks and Pirates will be televised in Spanish on the Fox Sports Arizona Plus channel. There are the great Oscar Soria and Rodrigo Lopez. Coverage starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow, brought to you by your Valley Honda dealers. And it streams live on Fox Sports Go. To find the Plus channel listing and the 25-game schedule, visit foxsportsarizona.com. Jordy Mercer, the shortstop. Mercer knocks one into left field, a 2-out single. That's just the 4th hit for the Pirates against Patrick Corbin. That brings up Andrew McCutchen.
Center fielder Andrew McCutchen.
McCutchen 0 for 2, now at 206 on the year. Coming off a winter in which there were very public trade rumors suggesting the Pirates were shopping Andrew McCutchen, who had of course been their flagship player for years. It seemed almost like a long shot that he'd be back in Pittsburgh this year, but here he is. Couldn't work out a deal. Some people thought he was treated badly by the organization, subject to trade rumors after all he's done for that franchise and that city. And now in the final year of his contract. And there is a team option next year. The Pirates hold a $14.5 million option next season. It seems, however, not unfair to say this is a player who is in decline. The numbers are what they are. Still productive, certainly, but not the consistent MVP candidate that he used to be for so long. 3-4 years in a row he was top 5 in the MVP voting.
And it's been on both sides of the ball, not only offensively but defensively. Some of the lines that he's taking after balls are a little questionable from time to time. Doesn't have much arm to play center field. Saw the Diamondbacks twice last night turn singles into hustle doubles on balls hit to center field.
Brandon Drury knocks it down. Couldn't keep it in the glove. Almost made a spectacular play. McCutchen settles for a single.
Get so extended like that sometimes you just don't really have any control over the glove. Ball was in it momentarily, but because he had to reach so high above his head, it just squirted out the webbing of the glove.
remember in the 4th inning, Patrick gave up a 2-out, 2-run homer to Josh Bell. And he'll try and avoid that mistake right here. 2 on and 2 down. Gregory Polanco, who has doubled and flied out, is the hitter.
Yeah, one of our loyal D-backs fans has pointed out it might be the hair from McCutchen.
It's a Samson thing.
Yeah, you know, he had the dreadlocks for a long time. That was kind of his signature look. He was a .298 hitter, a 5.5 WAR per season. You know more about that than I do, but that's pretty good.
He has had very sharp drops in his OPS, which is on base percentage plus slugging percentage. Each year now, for the 3rd straight season, that OPS has really dipped dramatically. He led the league in OPS back in 2014.
30-point drop in batting average. As you mentioned, the OPS way down.
And you mentioned center field. That there was all the hubbub about that this winter. They were going to move him out of center field and put Starling Marte in center, who was a better defensive player. He'd been playing left field. But of course, Marte got a PED suspension about 2 weeks into the season, so all that changed. And they had moved Polanco around as well. Polanco is now back in right field, where he says he's most comfortable. And McCutchen is in center, where he says he belongs, but doesn't necessarily defend as well as, frankly, either of the other 2 guys.
And their ballpark in Pittsburgh has a lot of room from gap to gap. A lot of territory to cover.
His defensive metrics in center field, and again, you don't want to get too heavy into the analytics, but he was among the worst defensive center fielders in baseball last year, Andrew McCutchen. So when they said it's time for him to move now that he's at 30, they weren't wrong. They had the data to back it up. But he is a first-class player. The type of player that any team would want. The type of player that Major League Baseball really endorses. But he relies, and has relied, it seems, so much on his athleticism. Now at the age of 30, it's not quite the same. Patrick at 80 pitches, 48 strikes, 1 and 2 on Polanco. You know, with McCutchen, Bob, it's a little different. He's not quite, as he's slowed down, he's not quite like Albert Pujols or Miguel Cabrera, guys that can just mash even though they can't really move all that well. McCutchen's not that type of hitter. He needs his speed. He needs his athleticism to be productive.
I would agree with you. It doesn't mean he can't be a productive player in the right lineup, surrounded by other players who are maybe on the upswing in their career.
Polanco's at it again. He knocks it into center. This is going to get Mercer home. McCutchen runs into 3rd, and the Pirates tack on a run. It's 11-4. That's 3 consecutive 2-out singles against Patrick Corbin.
Third baseman David Freese.
Slider up. Polanco catches it right off the end of the bat, but enough of a gap up the middle of the field for that one to dribble through into center for an RBI base hit.
Chris Iannetta pays a mound visit. Boy, Polanco is a consistent problem for the Diamondbacks. He's a .340 career hitter at Chase Field. That average has gone up. He's singled and doubled tonight and knocked in 2. Had the home run last night to break up the Greinke no-hitter. 20 career games against the Diamondbacks. He's hitting better than .350. David Freese drives one to center. AJ's there. Pirates add a run. D-backs lead it 11-4. Diamondbacks lead the Pirates 11-4. It's a special night because we're also joined by the lovely Mike and Vanessa.
Hello. It's been a while.
Yeah, where have you been?
I don't know. Where have I been, Mike?
Well,
celebrating your birthday.
Yeah, you took the whole week off, I heard.
I did. Not the whole week. I worked Tuesday.
All right. We have a couple of items that we need to talk about here coming up at the ballpark. Let's start, because Mother's Day is, of course, this Sunday. This is the Mother's Day clutch coming up on Sunday. First 10,000 moms with the Chase Field against the Pirates. Get the Mother's Day clutch. Now, this has your seal of approval, right?
Yes, it's durable, and it has little slots to put your driver's license, your debit card.
Just the essentials.
Yes, put your lip gloss, you know, all the good stuff in there. And you know what? When you get these this Sunday, it'll have a PetSmart gift card in there.
And it's Corbin
and they
lines
range
up to
from like
Mercer at
$5.
shortstop. Yeah, that's the D-backs clutch purse and PetSmart gift card. Good catch. Get your Mother's Day tickets at dbacks.com. Now, the lovely Mike has our pool towel. That's coming up on Saturday, June 10th against the Brewers.
Yes.
Now, what I like about this is a real deal. This is like a full-size pool towel.
Yeah, I'm 6'7", so this is.
You are.
This is a big towel. All right, maybe I'm not. I'm like 5'10",
almost
but
all
it
of
is. I need a very forgiving towel. I'm a big dude, and this gets my stamp of approval.
First 20,000 fans at the game against the Brewers Saturday, June 10th. Get the D-backs pool towel, courtesy of Gila River Casinos. Here's A.J. Pollock.
Now, Bert, I would say this is probably irony, because we took up a collection here in the booth, and for Vanessa's birthday, we got her a clutch purse and a beach towel.
Oh, thanks.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, we did. We all chipped in.
Go.
I appreciate you guys thinking about me. You're so sweet.
Well, you were gone for so long.
I know. So that means I missed out on the cupcakes, right?
Yeah, we ate those.
Oh. Dang it.
All right. The lovely Mike and Vanessa, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
And
it.
great to see you guys.
Yeah. Get your clutch.
Coming up on Mother's Day, Sunday. 2-2 to AJ. The lovely Mike and Vanessa, staple of our home broadcasts.
We're a little partial because, you know, it's our home ballpark. Mike and Vanessa are our home guys, but boy, we go on the road and some of the on-field talent.
Oh, well, there's that word. I don't know.
Yeah.
AJ looks at strike 3.
It seems to be their main thing is just to run around with a microphone and yell, "Make some noise!"
Yeah, that's the worst. Dodger Stadium, brutal. Here's Peralta. Doubled, singled. He scored twice. He's knocked in a run. Yeah, Mike and Vanessa do a great job.
They do a great job.
Peralta knocks it into left center. His third hit tonight. Freight train, a 2-out single. Here comes Goldie.
That opposite field approach for David, and when he suffered from that flu for a few days, he kind of lost this swing. Pitches out away from him, just driving him to the opposite field. But now that he's feeling better again, we're seeing more and more base hits go to that left side.
And remember, we had a Fox Sports Arizona microphone on David before the ball game today. And as we mentioned earlier, there's a bit where he tries to get Zach Greinke to talk to him. We'll play it in the next half inning. You don't want to miss this. It's hysterical. Here's Goldie. Walk, singled, struck out. High fly ball, pretty deep right center. Polanco in front of the wall, and he's got it. David Peralta wearing a microphone. This could be trouble. That's coming up next.
gotta talk inside. He likes to talk a lot. So I'm gonna say hi to him. Zach, what's going on, man? How you doing? Hey, great game yesterday.
Who are you?
Come on,
What happened?
Great game yesterday.
He wants
hey,
to talk.
where's my nickname? Tell him. Don't be afraid. That's okay. What do you think? Huh? He's gonna talk. I would stay all day here.
You're just messing the team up right now.
What?
Well, it couldn't have messed him up that much. It's 11-4. Patrick Corbin leads off the 6th inning against Jose Osuna. Poor Peralta just couldn't find anybody who'd talk to him with that microphone on.
Well, if it puts 11 runs on the board every night, I think you ought to wear the mic home.
Yeah, and by the way, he's 3 for 4 tonight,
yeah.
Peralta. A double and 2 singles. Always great when the players help us out walking around, because the poor guy that wears it, I mean, he might as well have a giant bullseye.
Yep. Nobody wants to be near him. Nobody wants to be caught on tape saying anything controversial or crazy.
I mean, he goes up to the quiet guys, you know, Iannetta, Mathis, those guys, they're quiet, they're focused, they're thinking about catcher stuff. And then he goes out to center, runs out there to talk to Greinke. Zach's not going to talk to him. Goldie, a little backhand stop. Corbin covers. Nicely executed by the Diamondbacks.
Well, we have such a great view of that play. Goldie leading the pitcher to the base, you know, like a quarterback. You just throw it out there in front of the pitcher, let him run into the throw, and then catch it, step on the bag. Makes it look very easy. Got it right in stride. Well, in that particular play, if you throw that ball low or behind the pitcher, that's when you have terrible accidents down there at first base.
J.J. Hoover, the right-hander, starts to get loose because he's got to catch the ball and find the base all basically at the same moment. Here's Josh Bell, who homered his last time. Of course, after Zach Greinke's masterpiece last night, safe to say the bullpen is in pretty good shape. Rodney worked the 9th for his 9th save. Well, what a night that was last night. How about those two guys back-to-back Zachs?
I like it.
Godley was just outstanding against Detroit. 2 Hopper to Owings, backhanded shortstop, and they retire Bell. In fact, we should point out that Zach Godley, before the ball game today, was named to that start coming up against the Mets Monday. So Godley will get another start. Boy, he was brilliant against Detroit the other night. It'll be Zach Godley and Zach Wheeler, and the opener of a 3-game set against the Mets here on Monday. And then Greinke pitches Tuesday versus New York. How about this one Wednesday? This is an afternoon game, Wednesday afternoon. Matinee pricing fans, get your tickets right now, dbacks.com. Patrick Corbin against Matt Harvey.
Matt Harvey.
Good pitcher. Jake Lamb at third.
If he shows up.
Good point. Throws out Chris Stewart. Patrick Corbin through 6 innings. Leads at 11-4. How about this combo, the Diamondback box score? And this is only through 5 innings, keep in mind. Every single starter, including the pitcher Patrick Corbin, has a base hit, 11 runs on 14 hits, and Jake Lamb leads off the 6th.
Let me check my math one more time. I think everybody in the lineup, with the exception of Patrick Corbin, also has an RBI.
Some defensive changes for the Pirates. Alan Hansen takes over at second base, replacing Josh Harrison. Harrison moves over to third, and David Freese, just activated from the DL today, comes out of the ball game. So Hansen will hit 5th in Freese's spot. Way up in the air, short center. McCutcheon's coming in. 1 away. Hey, D-backs fans, stop by your local Fry's and stock up on your favorite Pepsi products. Use your VIP card. You'll earn D-backs rewards points, and you could also win one of 6 suites to an upcoming D-backs game, courtesy of Pepsi. See in-store display for official rules and details. Yes, Bonnie Tomas, an RBI single his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Dodgers won at Coors Field tonight. They beat the Rockies 6-2 behind Clayton Kershaw. Giants right now hosting Cincinnati. Reds lead that one 2-1 at San Francisco. They're in the 5th. Padres 6-3 winners over the White Sox in Chicago. White Sox are coming in here in just about a week or so. White Sox will be in here the 22nd through the 24th, a 3-game series, Monday through Wednesday. That means the Hawk will be here. He gone. The bird of prey will be flying in with his Nehru suits.
Put her on a board.
He'll give you a big hello there, Robert. 2-2.
Yeah, Hawk was cool before cool was cool.
Oh, yeah.
See if we can get the Hawk on a pregame show while the White Sox are in town. He's always been real good about that.
He gone. Yeah, I think last time we were in Chicago a couple of years ago, you and he did a booth segment.
Little thing, yeah.
Did a thing with a Hawk. Great thing about the Hawk is anytime you ask him who was the greatest this or who was the greatest that, who's the best you ever seen at this, the answer is always yes, yes. With Yaz up at the plate.
Yeah,
how about that? Giants have come back now. They've tied up the Reds 2-2 in the 5th inning. Johnny Cueto on the mound for the Giants, who are reeling right now. That game in St. Louis's final, Cubs beat the Cardinals 3-2. Wilson Contreras a couple of home runs. Behind first base, Josh Bell drifting out there. Hansen, the new second baseman, has it. 2 down.
Hey fans, tomorrow join the Coyotes at Gila River Arena for their annual Select a Seat open house. From 2:30 to 4 o'clock, fans can secure savings on 2017-18 season tickets. Kids can play ball hockey with defenseman Kevin Connaughton and meet Howler and the Paw Patrol. For more info, visit ArizonaCoyotes.com or call 480-563-PUCK.
Brandon Drury has doubled and homered tonight, 2 for 3. That one almost hit Mike Farron in the radio booth. Brandon up to 322, his home run in that 7-run 3rd inning, his 3rd of the year. strikes is out and pokes it into left. Brandon Drury's third hit tonight. And Drury is now a triple shy of the cycle. Right by Harrison at third.
Guys work so hard to get their swings in a groove, and then it's a swing like this that gets you a base hit.
That's true.
The whole thing with hitting is just get the barrel on the ball wherever it's pitched, wherever you happen to hit it. Try to hit it hard and hope it finds a hole. Kind of an awkward swing that time by Brandon, but covered that breaking ball off the plate away and found the hole on the left side.
Peralta and Drury both have 3 hits tonight. 11 runs on 15 hits. Here's Chris Owens. First pitch swinging, fouls it off. CO had an RBI single his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Third game of this 4-game series coming up tomorrow night. Don't forget a 5:10 start here Saturday night at Chase Field. Taijuan Walker takes the mound against Trevor Williams. And then a 1:10 start on Sunday against Pittsburgh. Robbie Ray and Ivan Nova. Nova's had a very good year. And then the Mets come in for 3 on Monday. Zach Godley starts that one. Zach just outstanding in his start against the Tigers on Wednesday. 7 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts. Owens chases a slider and punches out. We'll head to the 7th. Diamondbacks lead the Pirates 11-4.
Honestly, as a player, you don't notice it that much.
I've heard a couple of good stories about goings on in the pool area.
It's a cool experience for the fans.
Be in the pool watching a game, I've never done that before.
Baseball's changing. It's about the experience.
Which brings us to our Geico This Day in Major League Baseball history. We go back to the 1998 season. As a member of the Chicago Cubs, Mark Grace hits the first splashdown homer. Who knew?
As a Cub. At then Bank One Ballpark.
That was enough reason to go get him. Bring him here to the Diamondbacks.
Fans enjoy their night out at the RamTrucks.com pool area. J.J. Hoover on to start the 7th. Our Ashline called to the bullpen, his 15th appearance this year. As Patrick Corbin goes 6 innings. Gave up 4 runs, 6 hits. He walked 2 And struck out, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Patrick only threw 90 pitches to get through his 6 innings. No need to extend him with an 11-4 lead. But he was, for the most part, very efficient tonight. Patrick, 13 outs on 3 or fewer pitches, including 4 one-pitch outs. That's outstanding. Just had a 7-pitch 6th, and now Hoover leads off the 7th as Adam Frazier will hit for the pitcher. Frazier just activated from the DL before the game tonight. 306 and a homer. His last game with the Pirates had been April 22nd. He's been out with a left hamstring strain. Puts it up the middle. Chris Owings spins and throws. Got him.
CO showing his range once again, going up the middle of the field, spins his back completely to his target, which sets him up to make that throw, and plenty of time to get Frazier at first base.
One down for Josh Harrison.
Nice smooth play that time.
Harrison singled and scored to lead off the ball game. It was 1-0 Pittsburgh after a half inning. In fact, it was 1-0 Pirates going into the bottom of the 3rd when the Diamondbacks scored 7. They followed that up with a 4-run 4th. They batted around in back-to-back innings. There's our great crew doing some work.
Well, those guys have to do a lot of homework too. You saw the scorecards there with all the players and the numbers, and they study the faces, because occasionally we'll say, hey, give me a shot of the pitching coach. Well, we got to know what the guy looks like so they can beam in on him and make us look good.
They certainly do that.
Oh yeah.
You'd be nowhere without these guys. You know, they're like the umpires too. They don't have breaks. They don't get to sit and put their feet up. They're standing up working a camera the whole time. Broken bat, a little soft roller to Owen. He's got to hurry, and he gets Harrison. Hey fans, tonight at Chase Field you'll enjoy a post-game fireworks show, and on the 1st of July fans will enjoy the best fireworks show of the year. Looks just like that 1st of July celebration this year. That's right, the Diamondbacks will celebrate Independence Day a little early, Saturday, July 1st. 20,000 fans will get a State 48 patriotic t-shirt, and this post-game fireworks spectacular. It's courtesy of Gila River Casinos. So get your tickets at dbacks.com. The big Independence Day fireworks spectacular. A few days early, Saturday, July 1st.
Yeah, we'll be in Los Angeles on the 4th of July. I heard they're going to turn up the Death Star speaker all the way to 11 this time.
This one goes to 11. I can't imagine a place I'd rather not be on the 4th of July than Dodger Stadium, but duty calls. Yeah, that thing on 4th of July, that's trouble. Usually around 4th of July All-Star break is a time where you start maneuvering some fishing trips and some grandpa duties. We lose you generally for a week or so, but I know that's in flux right now. There's all kinds of scheduling
definitely
conflicts.
Is in that.
J.J. Hoover works a 1-2-3-7. 3 strikes at Chase. It's 11-4.
All right, fans, it's time for the 7th inning stretch.
I like it. Long drive. Yeah. Keep it low. I like low. It's all right. Now you.
What's up? What's up, Freight Train?
Now you're running close to me because I got the microphone, right?
David, can you keep it down? Hey, better, swing better!
Yo.
Hey, better, swing!
I like it. Long drive. Yeah. Keep it low. I like low. It's all right.
No, they always mess with the poor guy wearing our Fox Sports Arizona microphone tonight, David Peralta. I want to thank David for all his help with that before the ball game today. Johnny Barbato, the new pitcher, his 5th appearance of the year. A couple of defensive changes behind him. I'll pass those along to you in just a minute. Chris Iannetta leads off the bottom of the 7th. Chris homered in the 3rd, his 3rd of the year. Gift Ngope takes over at shortstop, replacing Jordy Mercer. And he will hit 9th pitcher spot, now 2nd in the Pirate order. Adam Frazier, who pinch hit in the last half inning, is taken over in left field, replacing Osuna. Our Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing, cool play of the game. Iannetta got that 7-run 3rd started with a 441-foot homer that almost hit the DBTV board out there. You can see the blood coming out of Chris Iannetta's nose and upper lip area. They're trying to get a towel to him. Here comes Ken Crenshaw, the trainer. Let's have a look.
Running fastball up and in. Oh, cut him right in the face. Wow, 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Oh, man.
Right on the end of the nose, it looked like. Unfortunately, Chris is getting up. He's on his feet. Ryan DePanfilo and Ken Crenshaw out there. Chris Iannetta. Gregor Blanco is in the on-deck circle. Looks like he's getting ready to hit for the pitcher, J.J. Hoover. Now Torey Lovello needs a base runner for Chris. Checking in with Ed Hickox behind the plate.
We hate to show this one more time, but I think there may be some question as to whether Chris Iannetta swung at that pitch. And if you are in the act of swinging and get hit by a pitch, even as gruesome as this one, it didn't look like the bat got out there far enough.
Chris Herman coming out to run at first.
For Chris Iannetta, number 10, Chris Herman.
So Herman will run for Iannetta and Blanco will bat for Hoover.
Pitching for J.J. Hoover, number 5, Greg.
We're obviously hoping for the best for Chris Iannetta. Very, very scary moment right there.
Gregor Blanco 2 for 6 with an RBI as a Diamondback so far. Andrew Chafin has started warming up in the D-backs bullpen.
You know, there has been a history between these two teams. Unfortunately, Pirates have had a reputation over the last number of years of, let's just say, not being afraid to pitch inside aggressively.
That's how Goldie suffered the broken hand several years ago. And then McCutchen got one in the back. It extended all the way to last season in Pittsburgh when Gene Segura took one in the head. That was at PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
Well, and seeing that hit by pitch by Chris Iannetta, you can understand why hitters get so upset, why hitting coaches and managers get so upset, why umpires get upset. And you start throwing up above the shoulders. I don't think there's any reason for Barbado to intentionally hit Chris Iannetta, but even accidentally, when that pitch strays up above the shoulders, hitters have so little time to react to the ball. It's just a very, very dangerous situation. I don't think too many guys get upset if they get hit in the rear end or in the ribs or in the legs, but boy, once you go up above the shoulders, you're starting to really mess around.
Well, we're hoping for the best for Chris Iannetta, certainly. If we get some information from the clubhouse, we'll have it for you. Chris walked off under his own power. Looked like he was bleeding from his nose and his upper lip. Here's A.J. Pollock, 2 on and no outs. A.J. an RBI triple in the third, a single in the fourth. He scored twice tonight. D-backs with 11 runs on 15 hits. Herman at second, Blanco at first. It's a little roller that goes foul. Diamondbacks season highs this year. 13 runs and 16 hits. So they're bearing down on both of those numbers. One down in the bottom of the 7th. Pollock strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. Brings up David Peralta. What's next brought to you by Century Lake. Game 3 of this 4-game set tomorrow, a 5:10 start. Diamondback Live pregame show at 4:30. Trevor Williams for the Pirates and Taijuan Walker for the D-backs. Big night for David. 2 singles, a double. He scored twice. He's knocked in a run. He's got a stolen base. Bell at first. They get 1. Peralta's aboard.
First baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
There's Goldie. Goldie walked in the first, had an RBI single in the third. He struck out fly out, 1 for 3. Chris Herman, pinch running for Chris Iannetta, is at third base. Peralta at first, 2 down.
What do you girls say? Hello. Say, let's go D-backs right now.
And check on that slider, and it's 0-2. We'll head to the 8th inning. Diamondbacks lead the Pirates 11-4.
Cox high-speed highlights tonight. It's been all about the offense. A big 3rd inning in this game. Diamondbacks with 7 runs on 6 hits in that 3rd inning. Had so much fun doing that, they came back and scored 4 on 6 hits in the 4th inning. Everybody in the lineup involved tonight.
Our Gila River game summary. Diamondbacks batted around in back-to-back innings. A 7-run 3rd, a 4-run 4th. They lead at 11-4. They've out hit the Pirates 15-6. Patrick Corbin worked 6 innings. J.J. Hoover the 7th. And now Andrew Chafin on to start the 8th. Defensive changes behind him. Daniel Descalso takes over at first base. He replaces Goldie. He'll get the rest of the night off. Nick Ahmed is the new shortstop, and Gregor Blanco is in center, replacing A.J. Pollock.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, partner, because of the performance of Zach Greinke last night. The bullpen is really rested and ready to go. Also, Zach Godley the day before going 7 strong innings. Everybody down there pretty well rested. This is a good opportunity just to get some guys an inning of work.
Yeah, it's been pretty quiet for the bullpen between Zach Greinke, Zach Godley. The off day on Monday. Bullpen's in very good shape right now. Andrew McCutchen leads off the 8th. Single his last time up, 1 for 3. Here's the defensive changes. Chris Herman takes over behind the plate. Still no word on the condition of Chris Iannetta, who was hit in the face by a fastball to lead off that last half inning. Chris walked off under his own power. Fouled off, and it's 2-2. Gregory Polanco on deck. Descalso bats in the leadoff spot, pitcher spot now 3rd for the Diamondbacks. Herman hits 8th, Blanco 9th. And Herman completes the strikeout, 1 down. That'll bring up Polanco, who has 2 RBIs tonight, a double and a single. He's 2 for 3.
Right fielder Gregory Polanco.
D-backs already with the best home record in the National League. If they hang on here, they'll improve to 15-6 at Chase Field this season. It'll be their 3rd straight win, their 2nd in a row over the Pirates, who are in here for 2 more Saturday and Sunday. Dodgers beat the Rockies at Coors Field tonight, 6-2 behind Clayton Kershaw. Giants and Reds are tied 2-2 in the 8th inning in San Francisco. Padres 6-3 winners over the White Sox in Chicago.
It was Johnny Cueto pitching for the Giants tonight against his former team, the Reds. As you mentioned, tied up at 2 in the 8th inning. It's an old school Bucko hat right there.
Well, we are family. Just need some of Pop Stargell stars. Pirates have a version of that uniform they wear occasionally, and when they do a throwback thing, the old Kent DeCulvey lid. Those 76 Centennial National League hats that some of the clubs wore. But you see the expression on some of these fans' faces. It's been that kind of year for the Buccos. Last place in the NL Central. This will be their 6th straight loss. They'll drop to 8 games under 500. Andrew Chafin comes in, strikes out the Pirates 3 and 4 hitters. He got McCutchen, he gets Polanco.
Looked like he took a little off that breaking ball, got a bigger sweep on it. Right off the outside corner of the plate. Polanco could not hold up.
Second baseman Alan Hansen.
Alan Hansen, the new second baseman. 162 in 24 games this year. He struck out as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning last night. 2 for 16 at the plate this month. Drury at second base. Andrew Chafin a 1-2-3-8, 11-4 Diamondbacks.
We anxiously await the start of Diamondbacks Live, the postgame show. And Brandon Webb, let's just use this as a notice to Bob Brenly. We're going to go heavy offense, if that's okay.
Yeah, heavy offense.
And, you know, he likes to talk over the highlights, so we're just going to give him the entire third and fourth inning, right?
I think we should, yeah. You better do
out of here and take a break.
Yeah, breathing exercises, BB, something, you know.
Get an oxygen tank. We'll get a mask. Like,
yes.
Like airplanes will drop from the ceiling.
He's going to need it.
Okay, so he'll go over the third and fourth
and
inning.
Fourth, yes.
Every single at bat and run.
Every at bat.
Okay, and then you'll look at Patrick Corbin?
Yes.
Okay, Diamondbacks Live, Steve and Bob right after the game. We'll look forward to seeing you then.
I'm not sure that's been cleared through the usual channels.
No.
Your staff aware of this?
Nothing is official at that table out there. It's got to go through some people
I see
before
this
it's approved.
as Webby basically shirking his responsibilities.
Really, it's
you have enough on your plate as it is.
It's not that hard. Somebody got a hit, another guy got a hit, another guy got a hit, another guy got a hit.
Well, that pretty much describes the third and fourth innings. Diamondbacks batted around back-to-back innings, the third and fourth. They got 7 in that third and 4 more in the fourth. They sent 10 men to the plate in each of those 2 innings. Jake Lamb leads off the home half of the game.
Those were a couple of innings like the old Bugs Bunny cartoon. You know, they used to play that cha-cha music, and Bugs would go to the plate. Hit. Hit.
And then he'd throw that slow ball, and guys would swing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He'd strike out the side. They were all lined up in a row
on one pitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very efficient. Understand that Chris Ionnet is getting some tests right now. Which is a good sign. He's up walking around, but no official word on his condition as Lamb has his 3rd hit tonight, a leadoff single. So we're hoping for the best for Chris, who got hit in the face with a fastball to lead off the 7th.
Left fielder,
Yasmani Tolas, an RBI single in the 4th. He scored a run in that 7-run third. Diamondbacks have matched their season high with 16 hits. Their season high is 13 runs. That's going to get out of play. 1-1.
Don't go away just yet, fans. 11-4 ball game in the 8th inning, but Brandon Drury is a triple away from the cycle, and the way he's been driving the ball to right field and right center field, it's not out of the question tonight.
Don't bet against him. Brandon doubled in the second, hit a 3-run homer in that third. Struck out in the fourth and singled his last time up in the sixth. So he's 3 for 4, triple shy. There's Ryan DePanfilo, we presume, giving Torey Lovullo the news on Chris Iannetta. Chris has been getting some tests in the clubhouse. So Moss gives one a ride, headed for the right field corner. Polanco on the track, and he's got it for the first out. So let's look at Brandon Drury's night as he comes up a triple shy of the cycle. It starts in that second with a 2-out double. The big hit came in the 7-run third with a 3-run homer, his third of the year. And then a single in the sixth. Three for 4. Lambs at first, 1 out. Brandon Drury over the last 2 weeks has a line drive rate of better than 40%, which puts him top 5 in the major leagues. Really hitting the ball hard lately. That was coming into the game tonight. He's hit 3 balls hard for 3 base hits. Nick Ahmed on deck. Has that one, 2 outs.
Well, even his outs lately have been just missed it, just missed it, just missed it.
Here's Nick Ahmed. Nick's first at bat tonight. Took over at shortstop for Chris Owens. 258, 2 homers. Nick has 5 hits in his last 3 games, including a home run here Wednesday in the win over the Tigers. Ahmed chases one in the dirt. And Strand, the leadoff single, will head to the 9th inning. Diamondbacks have an 11-4 lead. often you see teams bat around in an inning. It's very rare when they do it in back-to-back innings, but that's what the Diamondbacks did tonight against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 10 men to the plate in the third. Another 10 came up in the fourth. They lead Pittsburgh 11-4. And on to work the ninth inning. Our Ashline call to the bullpen serves up the bartender, Tom Wilhelms, in his 17th appearance.
And once again, an opportunity for Troy Lovello and Mike Butcher to use those guys in the bullpen just to get them an inning of work in a 7-run ball game here in the ninth inning.
Jose Osuna, the left fielder who walked and scored in the fourth, leads it off. He's 0 for 2.
Funny, you talk to most relief pitchers and they'll tell you they much prefer the regular work. Pitch 2 days out of 3 or 4 days out of 6. Get that ball every day, maybe get up a couple times in between, maybe not get into the game. Allow them to get into that rhythm and complete their pitches the way they like to, especially guys that rely on sinkers or movement on their pitches. They seem to be much better with regular work than if they happen to sit down there for 4 or 5 days in a row and not get an opportunity to pitch.
That was a conversation that Fernando Rodney had with Torey Lovello very early this year. You know, more than 3 days, and he's frankly not really comfortable. Stuff's got to stay sharp, and there was an outing early this year where Fernando came in a non-save situation, and it got a little ugly, and Torey was asked a lot about that and said, listen, he needs to work. Save situation or no save situation.
You've heard me mention the name Greg Minton quite a bit, closer for the San Francisco Giants when I played for them, and Greg Minton's signature pitch was a heavy Brandon Webb-like sinking fastball, and if he didn't pitch for 2 or 3 days in a row, that sinker would start to straighten out. He'd get a little too strong and pitch through the break on the sinker. But if you pitched him 3 or 4 days in a row, it was nearly impossible to hit or catch.
Ahmed throws out Osuna one away. Well, that's always the thing with sinker ball guys, right? They're better when they're a little tired.
Yeah, just a little bit tired, so they're not overthrowing the ball. They're allowing it time to sink as it gets into that hitting zone. And some guys, the more tired they are, the more velocity comes off of that sinker, the more it moves.
Here's Josh Bell, who had his 6th home run of the year back in the 4th. 11 runs on 16 hits for the Diamondbacks, 4 runs on 6 hits for the Pirates. Last Pittsburgh base hit was Polanco's RBI single in the 5th inning. They've not had a base runner since. Corbett a 1-2-3-6 to end his night. Hoover retired all 3 he faced in the 7th. Chafin a 1-2-3-8 with 2 strikeouts. Now here's Wilhelmsen in the 9th. Here's Garrett Cole, who opened up this series for the Pirates against Zach Greinke. One more time for Ahmed, right to him. 2 outs. Here's the catcher, Chris Stewart, last man standing for the Pirates. Stewart 0 for 3. Diamondback Live postgame show standing by. Webby and Todd Walsh will be ready. They'll have all the analysis. Bob may or may not help out. And we'll hear from Troy Lovello, some of the players inside the Diamondback clubhouse. Also, we hope to get word on Chris Iannetta, who was hit in the face with a fastball tonight, leading off the 7th inning. Chris walked off under his own power, but took one, it looked like, right in the nose. There was a lot of blood. He was never unconscious, but he was down for a bit, and it looked to be pretty painful. So all that coming up on the Diamondback Live postgame show. That's brought to you by Century Link, immediately following our ball game. Well, now we've hit their catcher.
Doesn't seem to be quite as satisfying when you hit a guy in the leg after your catcher's been hit in the face. Well, hopefully that's the end of it. Let's move forward.
You get so tired of this, having to play this game with the Pirates. This is what they do. And so hopefully, as you said, that's all that we see. Gift Ngope came in at shortstop. There's the strike. Williamson throwing power fastballs up there, not messing around. A strike away from an 11-4 win. Just upstairs in 96.
How about that?
Ed Hickok's not biting back there.
Pretty good looking pitch up there at the top of the zone.
It's 11-4 in the ninth, Ed. One and two to Gift and Gope. Bounced his slider up there. Harrison, the leadoff man, would be next. Same two teams tomorrow. Diamondback Live pregame show at 4:30, 5:10 first pitch. Taijuan Walker on the mound for the Diamondbacks against right-hander Trevor Williams. Robbie Ray and Ivan Nova in the series finale Sunday. Right back to the mound. It went through Wilhelmsen. Ahmed is there and he throws him out. The Diamondbacks win it 11-4. They've won 3 in a row. They're back 5 games over 500.
A big win tonight. Big performance by the offense. Patrick Corbin with a good bounce back outing after that rough one in Colorado. This may be one of the more muted celebrations you've ever seen after a victory here at Chase Field. I'm sure these guys can't wait to get in the clubhouse. Check on the condition of their catcher, Chris Iannetta.
Well, we'll have word on that, we hope. We'll certainly hear from Torey Lovello and some of the players coming up when Diamondback Live post-game show gets underway. We'll take a break. Back with more from Chase Field. Diamondbacks beat the Pirates 11-4.